Hello and welcome back to Live, Laugh, Lily Kincade. Happy Monday. You guys, we made it through the first year of 2024. I almost said 2023. We made it through the first year of 2024. I'm pretty sure this year is a leap year, so we actually have 366 days. But you guys, we made it. Happy Monday. Happy second week of January. We did it. I'm proud of you guys. How was the first week? I always I like to take little assessments of the weeks. I think it helps. Then you're less overwhelmed every single month and you can implement little changes. But anyways, today's episode is going to be a little fun one. I was kind of inspired by my passion, but also, one of my favorite songs, Billie Eilish's What Was I Made For? Last night was the Golden Globes, and What Was I Made For won Best Original Song for the Barbie movie, What Was I Made For? But I was thinking about that and was like, that is the perfect thing to talk about because, it's a new year, it's a new season, it's a new chapter. And while we're always working on ourselves and, transitioning, it is kind of nice to do that, at the beginning of the year. And I kind of wanted to talk about finding your passion and what were you made for? And, it can be a very challenging thing. Even me, it's I feel very lucky. I know what I'm made for, but still I have doubts sometimes. And I think, it can be something that is not talked about a lot. I have a lot of friends, I didn't go to college, but I have a lot of friends of mine who are in post-grad and, they're feeling a lot of emotions and they're it's really scary because, for your whole entire life, you're just basically okay, you're going to go here, you're going to do this, you're going to go to college, blah, blah, blah. And then they're all of a sudden, you just are totally on your own and you are questioning what you are made for. And literally the Billie Eilish song is just an amazing song. I used to float, now I just fall down. I used to know, now I'm not sure now what I was made for. What was I made for? And, I think having those doubts is okay, but I'm going to give you a little bit about my story. This is kind of a little personal episode. I'm going to give you a little bit about my story and then some tips that I think and questions to either journal about or just be thinking about to kind of help you figure out what exactly you were made for and what your gifts are. Because sometimes the gifts you have are not necessarily the ones you see. And so it can be very helpful to get the opinions of people close to you and people that you trust because, sometimes we can't see our impact. And so it can be very helpful. So that's what we're talking about today. But yeah, welcome. If this is your first episode you're randomly listening to or watching, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. I literally just filmed these on my MacBook, just literally on my photo booth, because I started these in October because I was I have all the equipment for writing songs. I know how to do it. Why don't I just do it? And I often get asked the same questions. And I thought, you know what? If these are just on YouTube and on Spotify podcast, then, maybe it can help one more person. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. But yeah. Just me chatting about my life. We're living, we're laughing, and then I'm Lily Kincade. So that's why it's called Live, Laugh, Lily Kincade. But okay, every episode we start off with a couple quotes, maybe one, maybe two, whatever I find that kind of inspire and set the tone for this week's episode. And it was, what were you made for? So I have two quotes because I could not pick just one. The first one is, if you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion. For your passion will lead you right into your purpose. And that is by Bishop T.D. Jakes. I'll say it one more time. Ready? If you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion. For your passion will lead you right into your purpose. Bishop T.D. Jakes. And the next quote I have is, the two most important days in life are the day you were born and the day you find out why, by Mark Twain. Very intense. Anyways, I love those two quotes. I hope you love them as well. But okay, let's dive into the episode. Like I was saying, I was watching the Golden Globes last night. Everybody looked amazing. Can we talk about Taylor Swift's green dress? Is Reputation TV coming? I think it is. One of my good friends, Ariana Greenblatt, who was in the Barbie movie, beautiful inside and out. She looks stunning. Her outfit was so good. She wore these black pants and this top. It was so good. Those are my two favorite outfits. I also really loved, who else's outfit did I love? There was a lot of good ones actually. A lot more than in previous years. People are tending to go more vintage clothing, and I love that because me, I'm a vintage girly. But I loved it. And if Reputation TV is coming next, we already know that. It's just a matter of when. And y'all know me, I'm so excited. Endgame is one of my favorite songs. I don't know why, it just is. I have it as my ringtone. So whenever someone calls me, it's just big reputation. And I'm just dancing, vibing. It's great. But anyways, okay. So, I was watching the Golden Globes last night. And when Billie Eilish won I was just kind of thinking about that song, and it got me thinking about this topic. And I was like, this is what we're talking about. This is a sign. This is what we're talking about. Because even somebody like Billie Eilish, because she said, this is exactly how I feel. This song is exactly how I felt at this moment. She knows what she's made for. She's a international superstar. She's won multiple Grammys, and she still feels that way. So like, just know if somebody like Billie Eilish is feeling that way, like, it's okay for you to feel that way. We all feel that way. We are all human at the end of the day, like I always say, and we are so much more alike than we are different. But even her feeling that way at times, just inspired me to talk about this, because I feel like finding your purpose and truly being happy is like our life's journey, almost. Our life's journey. It's like, there's little things like, oh, I want to get this promotion. I want to buy this house. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to travel every single continent. But at the end of the day, those things are great, but your purpose is really, I feel like, what's going to fulfill you, because it's the time where you're using all of what you were made for. You're using all of your gifts that God gave you to, contribute to the world and inspire people and leave the world a better place. And, it can be very challenging. And for me, I feel very lucky because, okay, now I'm going to go into a little bit of like my story, but I have been singing. I just naturally gravitated towards singing and music when I was little, but I played all different sports when I was young. Like, my parents were trying to figure out, oh, what is she like? What is she made for? And so I did soccer. I was doing basketball. I was doing softball. I was doing everything. I took a kinder music, like a kindergarten music class, and I really gravitated towards that. Then I started doing cartwheels in the field. So my parents were probably like, you know what? She's probably not a sports girl, but maybe let's try dance. So then when I was in like first grade, I started dancing. And, over time, I think you just kind of gravitate towards certain things. Just kind of how some people really gravitate towards writing or drawing, and they're really talented artists, or they're super smart and they really love numbers and they love math and they love computer science. I think that, oftentimes as we get older, we kind of lose that natural inclination that we had towards something. And I just happened to, I feel very lucky because I just happened, but God made me that way. God made me that way because he knew I had to put in all the training and the work to be a young person and the same age as a lot of you guys and around the same age, and be able to, have this like advice. Like sometimes I feel like an old soul. I am a Pisces though, so I do feel like 80. I feel like 80 sometimes, like a little grandma. But also like your big sis. I don't know. But also like I have no clue what I'm doing. So it's like the duality of it. Anyways, but I was trying everything, right? When I was younger, I really gravitated towards music. And as the years went by, I kind of eliminated things and I really started to focus on the things I love. So I started playing piano and I started playing guitar when I was like 11 or 12. And I started singing and I started writing songs. I started doing community theater when I was younger. I no longer did sports because I was just doing cartwheels. Although I do love to shoot hoops. I know that's a very weird thing, but I love going to the park and I love shooting basketball hoops. It's so fun. When I was growing up in Kansas, we all, it's like suburbs. So in LA, you can't really do that. But in the suburbs, it's like people's driveway had basketball hoops and we would all just go and it's so fun. That's like so random, but I love shooting hoops. But yeah, I started really honing in on that. And I think that, it's a double-edged sword once you know what you were made for, because when you know what you were made for, you don't have the freedom, not in a bad way, but it's like when you know. And so when you know, and so like you can't deny it is what I'm saying. Like I knew I was made for music and I knew I was made for writing. And if I denied that, I would feel like I'm hiding a part of myself. Even if I didn't like it, I would feel like not complete because those are the things I was made for. I would feel like I wasn't using a part of a gift. And so I think sometimes it's beautiful when you're still in the stage of figuring it out because there's endless possibilities. And so don't be afraid or don't compare yourself to people who already have it figured out. Don't compare yourself to me. We are all on our own timeline and live in the freedom of like getting to try all these new things. There's so much beauty. It's the same thing as like when you're single versus when you're in a relationship. It's like, there's beauty to both. And I think just enjoying where you are now is one of the keys. Anyways, okay, we're going to get on to tips later, but I wanted to keep talking about this more. But I figured out what I was made for and I started really training at it and working at it. And it's going to take a long time. I moved to California when I was 14. I had to convince my parents. My mom got a new job out here. My dad started traveling for work. And it was really sad. Like, I remember I went to public school, kindergarten through 8th grade. And it's strange because it's like I don't know anything else. I didn't have siblings, so I didn't they didn't go through to a normal high school experience. And a lot of my friends are kind of similar positions to me. And a lot of my friends I've met through, the various things I did when I was growing up here. Like one of my best friends, Audrey, her and I met because we both were, performing in the arts when we were younger. So we met at our school that was like an independent school program. We met running the mile. So love that. We still had to do the mile, still had to do that. But I moved to California when I was 14, and like that was a big sacrifice looking back, but I knew what I was made for. And so it was all worth it to me because I was like, I can't just say, I can't forget what I was made for and live in the back of my head just like living, I needed to go for it. So when I was 14, I moved here. I did online independent school, like online on my own, and then had like my teachers I would go in and like labs and finals and everything. But it was like definitely very challenging, but it was fulfilling. And that's probably what confirmed that this is what I was made for, because all the sacrifices seemed worth it. And I think you can tell if it's something you're not really made for because the sacrifices aren't worth it. Like as much as I wanted to do, like as much as there's something you want to do, sometimes you're not made to do it, and that's okay. And it can still be a fun hobby or still be something fun that you do, but you're not going to feel probably fulfilled unless it's something you were made for. But yeah, so I moved in 2015, end of summer 2015, when I was 14, right before high school, to California, and I'm going to be 23 in a month and a half, and a month and 10 days. You guys, oh my gosh. Oh my God, that's so crazy. That's crazy to think. That's crazy to think that I'm going to be 23. You guys, oh my God. Did you hear about the girl who lives in delusion? Breakups happen every day. You don't have to lose it. She's still 23. Inside her fantasy, how it was supposed to be. Anyways, that's another side note. We can talk about, I'm going to do a whole episode because my birthday's on Monday. So like, I remember my birthday's on Sunday, but Monday's episode, I'm going to do like all the things 22 things I've learned this past year. Cause I've learned a lot. Y'all, you think you're done learning, but like it never stops. The learning never stops. But anyways, okay, back to the story. But I moved when I was 14 and I'm almost 23. So it's been almost 9 years of me fully pursuing my purpose. And it's still going to take a lot of time. Even if it's something you were made for, it's going to take work. And when you see young people doing something, it's, usually they put in so much work before that you don't even know. So don't compare yourself to anything about that. But that's just like a little bit of my story and how I knew it was something I was made for. And, I think, like I said earlier, it's the life's purpose is knowing what you're made for. So some people don't know until they're 60. Some people don't know until they're 70. Some people know when they're 10. Some people know when they're 20. Some people know when they're 30. Some people know when they're 40. Like don't compare yourself to anybody else because there's no rush. There's no rush to know what you were made for, okay? Have fun figuring it out and just enjoying the journey along the way. Because once you do know what you're made for, you can't deny it. Like once if you know you're made to be an artist, if you're made to be a painter, every day you're not painting, you're going to feel unfulfilled. You're going to feel like you're hiding a part of yourself. Every day that I'm not singing, I feel almost like not anxious, but I feel like, oh my God, I can't wait to sing. I feel so like excited for the next time I get to sing because that's what I was made for. But that's a little bit about that. But now I have some tips because this is kind of like the advice I give to my friends and my family members and people I know that can help them find their purpose. And it definitely helped me. Like this is what I used on myself. A couple questions. I would like recommend meditating on these or like thinking these over or like making little vision boards about these, writing them down in your journal. You can always like ask them to a friend too and kind of hold each other accountable. But these questions, whenever you're feeling a little bit like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what was I made for? Even myself, I ask myself these questions to kind of just like center and ground and really hone in on exactly the life I want, because you create the life that you want to live and your actions now are going to create the life later. Like it's like the same thing. People are like, what you eat is like what you're going to look like next month. And it's the same thing. What you're thinking about, what you're focusing on, what you're journaling about, what you're talking about now is who you're going to be in the following weeks. So, okay. Question number 1 for you guys is I want you to think about and describe in detail your perfect 9-year-old day. So close your eyes, go back to when you were 9 years old. What was your perfect day? What did it look like? Because when you were 9, you had no responsibilities. You weren't old. You weren't that age where you're like a teenager, where you're kind of like self-conscious. You were just totally yourself. I want you to close your eyes and think about your ideal 9-year-old day. What would you be doing? How would it feel? Would you be interacting with a lot of friends? Would you be more spending time by yourself? And that would be perfect. Would you be in nature? Would you be inside? Would you be reading? Would you be writing? What would you be doing? What would you be eating? Think about that all. I want you to write it down, journal it. If you want to take it a step further, I want you to go on Pinterest or go on Google and like screenshot pictures that kind of describe that day. It could be like your childhood bedroom, or were you in a treehouse, whatever it is. I want you to like screenshot pictures and kind of make a little collage about that. My ideal 9-year-old day, when I did this, I was like, it is exactly what I'm doing now. My ideal 9-year-old day would be going to school, talking to people, seeing my friends. Like I love to communicate and like bring people together and like talk about something that I'm passionate about. But then it would probably be going home. It would be sitting in my room, writing, relaxing, like writing, daydreaming, journaling. It would be reading a really good book. It would be dancing, whether that be by myself or taking a dance class. It would probably be after dance, reading a book again and listening to my favorite songs and playing them on the piano. And I can confidently say that's what I do every day. But think about that. I really want you to think about your ideal 9-year-old self. What exactly were you doing? Think about it. Was it, oh my gosh, my ideal 9-year-old self, I loved doing math equations. That may not be everybody, but if that's you, that's amazing. And that's a gift. And like, we need some STEM people. You are amazing. Like own it. Own your intelligence. You guys, never diminish your intelligence. I know it's like very popular because you don't want to seem that you're like smarter than other people, but you're not showing off. You're just being you. Don't diminish it. And also, like, this is a total side note, but I know a lot of girls who dumb down their intelligence for boys. And I'm like, that's not the boy you want. Trust me. Like, the boys that you want are the boys that are just as intelligent as you, and you can have engaging, intelligent conversations. So never dumb yourself down, okay? We are over that. We are embracing who we are to the fullest potential and not letting anybody make us feel small and insignificant and inferior. Period. Okay, so now that you have your ideal 9-year-old day written down, thought about in your head, you vision boarded it out, whatever floats your boat, we're going to move on to the next question. And that is, what is something you would do if you made no money doing it? Think about it. If you were, this is like kind of similar to the 9-year-old day, but we're just kind of drawing out what you were made for. Think about it. What would you do if you made no money doing it? I would still write music. And I would be like, I would work any job, but I would still write songs. Because I need to write songs, even if I didn't make money, even if that wasn't my job. So some people, would it be, I would still give advice to all my friends. I would still, whatever it may be, I would still host events. Whatever it may be, I would still be reading books about space. If you made no money, if it wasn't assigned for schoolwork, if it wasn't assigned for a job, what would you still do just because you like it? Or think about what topic would you learn about just because you like it? Not if you were required to or like forced to. Think about that, really hone in. And this, again, you can also find pictures on the internet and kind of like Pinterest them. Add these. You're adding these. This is going to be like your little, what was I made for vision board type thing. Like, I would still write songs. I would find a picture of my piano. I'm writing a song right there in process. I've started to like go retro again. Not retro again, but I always write on my phone because I'm always on the go. Like in my notes app. The girls' notes app are crazy, especially the songwriters. Songwriters' notes app is even more wild, but I love writing on paper. My handwriting is really messy, but I just love it. And I don't know. So that's a chorus that I just wrote of a song that I'm really loving, actually. It's been, there's ebbs and flows with songwriting. Maybe I'll do a whole episode about that. I don't know if that would be interesting because it's different every time, but I can kind of like walk you through writing a song. Maybe I can show you how I write a song. I've done it before on TikTok lives, but maybe we do one here so then you can see it. But I do have over on my YouTube channel, you guys, I have them for the past 3 songs I released. All the songs I put out in 2023, I actually made the coolest videos ever, and I'm going to do them for all my future songs on my album this year. But I made these videos where I just screen recorded every single voice memo, video, whatever, and I put them together to show you like the process of the song, like how it came to be. So you should definitely watch those if you haven't after this. But okay, back to this. Okay, so now you thought about the second step, thinking about what would you do, what would you study, what would be the topic if you were doing it for free. So now that you have that, there's one more question that I have that I would recommend to help you find what you were made for, and that is to 2 or 3 people that you trust, not people that you just met, people that really know you. So maybe parents, it could be a mentor figure, an older cousin, an older sibling, it could be a teacher, somebody that's that you're close to, but that is more of a mentor figure in your life. I want you to ask them, what would they say your natural gifts are? Because like I said earlier, sometimes we are blind to our own gifts, but other people can really see it. And I think, you've identified what you would do for free, what you really like to do, what your perfect day was. And now I want you to take it outward, and I want you to ask the people, a couple people, 2 to 3 people close to you, more mentor figures in your life. I want you to ask them, what you think your natural gifts are. And you don't have to take into account everything they say, but if you keep getting maybe one or two of the same answers over and over again, take that as a sign. Take that as a sign. I never thought that I was good at giving advice. Probably because I never had anyone to get advice. So I was always just going on the internet or researching, or I was reading books. I never thought that I would be good at giving advice, but people kept telling me, Lily, oh my God, that's such good advice. That's such good advice. And I'm thinking, what are they talking about? Like, I'm just like, I don't know if this works. I'm just kind of talking about what I've learned and what I've researched. And over time, people were like, Lily, you're really good at giving advice. Like, you have a really good balance and you have a really good viewpoint and you're able to assess things and see things. And I was like, you know what? Thank you for saying that, because maybe I am. And I started to see it, but I never thought that was one of my gifts until I had people close to me point that out to me. So never be afraid of asking people that you trust what your gifts are. And, at the end of the day, most importantly, you know what you were made for, or you will know what you were made for. And so always, above everything, trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your intuition, because that's going to be the most honest thing that you have. But also take into account, the people that you do trust in your life, because we can learn a lot from others. We're not meant to do life alone, as I always say. But those are kind of like the 3 questions I would use to help you find your purpose. And, the moral of this whole little episode is that it'll come in waves and you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay because you're going to figure out what you're doing. But right now, you don't know, and that's okay. And that's it. No need to over-explain it. Like, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to cry. You're allowed to cry. It's okay to feel like all of your friends know what they're doing and you're the one left behind, because that's okay. Simple. That's okay, because you're going to figure it out in your right timing, and don't rush it. Yeah. You'll find what you're made for. We're all going to find what we're made for. But yeah, I hope this helped. I love that Billie Eilish song. It's so sad, but it's so good. Think I forgot how to be happy. Something I'm not, but something I can be. Something I'm made for. Period. Something I'll wait for. Something I'm made for. Such a good song. But yes, I hope this episode helped you. If it did, send it to a friend that maybe hasn't listened to this podcast before, because, we're here to inspire. We're here to inspire, and I'm here to inspire all of you guys to be leaders in your own right and be inspiring to others, because you know what? We are all here to spread the love. Period. But I love you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe, and in the comments or in the little podcast Q&A box after this, it's going to ask you probably like what topics we want me to talk about next, but please let me know, because this is for you guys. I could talk to myself all day long. I mean, I kind of do, but I want to talk about what you guys need help with or what you want to hear. So please let me know. The more the merrier. I love you guys so much. Keep streaming Lily Kincade. I'm so excited for the new music this year that's in the works. Not giving up. I'm really excited. But also, you guys, Reel just hit 9 million streams on Spotify alone. And when it hits 10 million streams, I'm hoping maybe by my birthday, maybe Historic is about to hit 100K too, so that's just super exciting, and I'm so thankful for you guys, because I truly could not do it without you. Like, I don't know what I would do. What would I do? I know what I would do. I would just write the songs, but like, it's so much more fun when I have you guys here to be on this journey with me, to taking over the world, to the Grammys, to selling out the Hollywood Bowl, to selling out international stadium tours, Anyways, okay, let's say our affirmation before we go. Today is a wonderful day. I am confident because I am a problem solver. I always have options because I choose to be optimistic. Today I will learn something new, laugh, and make a difference in someone else's life. I love you guys so much. I'm so happy you're here, and I will see you next week.